Well, now moving on to the other big news today. Days to go before the first phase of voting in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections. A Delhi court today has granted interim bail to Baramulla MP Engineer Rashid till the 2nd of October for campaigning. J&K polls will end on the 1st of October. Rashid, who has been in jail since 2019 in a terror funding case, won the recent Lok Sabha polls as an independent candidate from Baramulla, defeating National Conference Vice President Omar Abdullah and People's Conference Chief Sajad Lone. Interestingly, Rashid's Awami Ittehad party, AIP, has 34 candidates in the J&K poll race as of now. Now, both PDP and National Conference have come down heavily on the BJP for allegedly using smaller parties and independents as proxies in the J&K Assembly elections and undermining the credibility of the election process. Nearly 44% of the candidates this time come from smaller parties or are independents. Omar Abdullah himself has alleged that the BJP government at the centre wants to finish the regional parties of J&K by propping independent candidates and parties. While the BJP has come forward with a sharp rebuttal, it has said that this is a dawn of democracy in J&K and this signals the dominance of influential dynasty-led parties in J&K is over. So why are political parties looking at smaller parties in J&K, independents also, as threats? Will the release of jailed engineer Rashid on interim bail make the J&K polls more interesting? Will it force the parties to reshape their strategies? That's what we will try and ask our guests tonight. We will be joined by a panel of esteemed guests, but first, let's look at some reactions.
I will not let down my people. I take a pledge that I will fight Modi's narrative of Naya Kashmir, which has miserably failed in Jammu and Kashmir. People have rejected his narrative and people of J&K have rejected whatsoever he did on 5th August 2019. The vote to me was a referendum against Modi's policy, especially abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. I am committed to work for the welfare of my people, for a peaceful resolution to Kashmir issue.
मुझे अफसोस इस बात का है कि उनकी रिहाई सिर्फ 20 दिन के लिए, सिर्फ इलेक्शन के लिए है। मैं तो सिर्फ एक बात पे हैरान होता हूं कि ये बीजेपी वाले एक ज़बान में कभी बात कर नहीं सकते। ये अलग अलग अंदाज से बात करते हैं। जब इसी तरह इजाज़त अरविंद केजरीवाल को दी गई थी, उस वक्त बीजेपी ने पूरे मुल्क में उसकी मुखालफत की। कहा कि ये क्या हो रहा है, आप किसी को इलेक्शन लड़ने के लिए जेल से कैसे छोड़ सकते हो, और मुल्क भर में उसके खिलाफ प्रचार हुआ। जब इंजीनियर रशीद को बिल्कुल इसी तरह सिर्फ इलेक्शन के लिए छोड़ दिया गया, तो इस चीज़ का इस्तिकबाल बीजेपी ने किया। तो कहीं ना कहीं दाल में कुछ काला तो नज़र ही आ रहा है।
इंजीनियर साहब को रिलीज़ किया, काश इनको पार्लियामेंट सेशन के दौरान रिलीज़ किया होता ताकि वो अवाम की बात करते। आज उनको इलेक्शन में रिलीज़ किया गया वोट मांगने के लिए, अच्छी बात है, मगर मैं चाहती हूँ जो हमारे हज़ारों नौजवान बेगुनाह जेलों में बंद है, उनको भी इसी तरह रिलीज़ किए, उनको भी रिलीज़ करें। तो ये इस वक्त जो हमारे नौजवान जिनके माँ बाप वहाँ तक जा नहीं सकते, रसाई नहीं है उनकी, उनको रिलीज़ करें तो अच्छी बात होगी।
Well, my colleague Nazir joins us from Srinagar. Nazir, both National Conference and PDP continue to attack the BJP and the centre over the number of independents and smaller parties that are contesting J&K Assembly polls this time. How has the release of Engineer Rashid escalated this issue? What kind of influence does he have, particularly in North Kashmir? And how is the BJP looking at this criticism?
Well, Engineer Rashid's release has clearly rattled the regional parties. They have blamed him for being a proxy of the BJP. Mehbooba Mufti yesterday even questioning the funding resource he is using for the election campaigning in Jammu and Kashmir. He has fielded around 34 candidates, and Mehbooba Mufti said that even her party, which has been was in the government in the past, don't have the resource to field candidates everywhere. Why did this money come from? Which Engineer Rashid's party is using for the campaigning extra. And his party, Awami Ittehad party, hit back at the PDP and saying, it is your party, you who sided with the BJP, laid the ground for the abrogation of Article 370. Umar Abdullah seconded Mehbooba Mufti's statement and today's even question why BJP actually welcomed his release when they have criticized Arvind Kejriwal's release, he was released by the Supreme Court. Which is clearly a sign that parties are worried, but in fact, Engineer Rashid's release will have And clearly, he is riding on the victory he had in the recent parliament election, a massive victory mandate in which he defeated Omar Abdullah, former chief minister from Baramulla parliamentary constituency. Today, when Engineer Rashid walked out of Ittehad jail after more than 5 years, he appeared combative and said he will defeat Narendra Modi's Naya Kashmir agenda, which he said has also already failed in Jammu and Kashmir. And he has said that vote for him in parliament elections was a referendum that people have rejected abrogation of Article 370 and what decision Prime Minister Modi had taken on August 5, 2019. Having said that, besides whatever would be the electoral results, who wins and who loses, it is going to change the political narrative as well. Because Engineer Rashid's narrative is completely different than the regional mainstream parties.
Right.
Clearly, it is going to push them to the different level to further sharpen their narrative. And that is going to, we may have see the interesting times to come. But all will be decided. Maybe Engineer Rashid will be coming tomorrow. We'll have to see the kind of response he will have when his party is going to organize a reception for him. Maybe it is happening in Baramulla, what sources tell us. So it is clearly the interesting element in Jammu and Kashmir elections when the regional parties were hoping that they will get an absolute majority, particularly National Conference and the Congress alliance. Even today, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said these independents are being fielded because BJP is worried about National Conference Congress alliance. And there are 44% independents in the first two phases of this assembly election in Jammu and Kashmir, which is really, really unusual in any election. But many of these independents are also linked to the unrecognized party like Engineer Rashid's party, Awami Ittehad party, or Apni party of Altaf Bukhari, and several other groups which have come up after the abrogation of 370, who all of them are being accused by NC and the PDP as Team B or the proxy of the BJP. But Engineer Rashid completely appeared very, combative today and said he's not going to answer to Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, and his sacrifices and his stature is much bigger than what responding to Omar Abdullah or Mehbooba Mufti.
Right. Nazir, in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024, we saw the BJP win 2 seats, NC win 2 seats, and independents bagged 2 seats. And both the heavyweights, Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti, lost elections. Is there a certain sentiment in certain sections of J&K that there is a need to give chance to other people? And is there a certain sense of fatigue with the existing dynasty parties?
Well, on the ground, it is only these parties who are still more relevant than anyone else. That's why without Engineer Rashid, who is much more hardliner than these regional parties, even after coming out of jail of 5 years, being accused of BJP proxy, and you see that his language, his tone, and his the way how he wants to conduct his politics. That is why, for example, before the advent of the PDP, when before the PDP was not launched, Farooq Abdullah was very aggressive when it comes to Pakistan, separatism. But when PDP came and Mehbooba Mufti had a different style of politics, which was seen as soft separatism, Farooq Abdullah was also compelled to do the almost same politics to become the relevant. So it is a double-edged sword for the center as well, for the government also, and the politics at large, regardless of whatever would be the outcome of these elections. But having said that, the defeat of Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti was a huge defeat for both the regional parties. But who won? It was the National Conference candidate who defeated Mehbooba Mufti in Anantnag Rajouri constituency. And it is Engineer Rashid who now says that vote for him was a referendum.
Nazir, hold on to that thought of yours. Let me also get
decision.
in other panelists. RP Singh from the BJP joins us. Mr. Singh, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. During the DDC polls that were held in 2020, BJP had emerged as the single largest party. It won about 75 of the 280 seats. But then with the help of 50 independent candidates, I remember BJP managed to win 6 councils in Jammu, Kathua, of course, Udhampur. So, of course, the high number of independents, do you think that this will also benefit the BJP? And how are you looking at the criticism of both Omar Abdullah and PDP that it is the BJP which is setting up these proxies?
Well, let's understand this. This time we are making government on our own. We don't need support of any independent. If you want, by another 4 or 5 days, because I'm there in Jammu and I'll be traveling to Srinagar also. I categorically see that we are sweeping Jammu and we are also touching double digit in Srinagar also. And when I say from a track record, because when we won, first time we won double digit figure, I was the co-in charge of the state, and then no one believed that we will ever win double digit, and we won 11 seats that time. It was 2008. Now again, things are changing on ground, and then we are very hopeful that people of Jammu and Kashmir both will vote for us, and then will ensure for a Naya Kashmir.
Right. And Mr. Singh, how do you see Engineer Rashid's interim bail? I know this is to do with the courts, but you know, other political parties have blamed the centre for it.
Well, when Arvind Kejriwal was released, did they blame the centre for it, or did they took it? They were boasting around that, oh, we have shown the centre this mirror, and then that centre has failed to keep Arvind Kejriwal behind bar. And then he did a campaign for almost 15 days.
Okay.
So it's a precedent which was set by the opposition only, and then that time they were boasting, and now taking the advantage.
So Ifra Jan of the National Conference also joins us. Thank you, Ifra, for joining us on this broadcast. So clearly, path to autonomy of Kashmir in some ways became very clear with the announcement of elections. All of us have been very happy with that. So if there are more parties in the fray, what is the problem? Because at the end of the day, it is the people of J&K who will cast their vote, and it is good that they have choices. So in that case, why is your party and also PDP saying that these are all proxies of the BJP?
You see, Vasundhara-ji, for the first time, it was in 2018. It was Ram Madhavji who gave a press conference and said PC is their proxy political party, because he had come to Kashmir and he had started what he called the BJP front. When in the recent Lok Sabha elections, one of the statements that came from the BJP chief of Jammu and Kashmir, Ravinder Raina-ji, was, he said in Kashmir Valley, it is actually their symbol will not be the usual lotus. Instead, it will be bat and ball. Recently, a month back, it was now a BJP MLA candidate from Anantnag West constituency who said,
let her finish. I'll come to you, Mr. Singh. Yes,
who said Engineer Rashid is their political party and he is what he called wo hamare hain. So that is what the BJP... So it's not something that the National Conference has been saying. It's something that the BJP leaders have gone on and on about it and said that these are people who we have fielded. Interestingly, Vasundhara-ji, there are 2 points I would like to make. When Arvind Kejriwal-ji was released from bail, BJP vehemently opposed the decision. Yesterday, the first one to welcome the decision of the court that granted bail to Engineer Rashid happened to be Altaf Thakur, the spokesperson of the BJP. He said that, I will not speak like, where somebody is shouting a woman down on television. Okay. What is this?
Okay, please go on. I'll go to him next.
Yesterday, when the Arvind Kejriwal's bail was declared by the court, it was announced, the BJP vehemently announced it. Yesterday, the first person to welcome Engineer Rashid Sahab's bail happened to be Altaf Thakur, a spokesperson, national spokesperson of the BJP. He said, we are very happy.
Okay, Mr. Singh, would you like to respond to that? She's clearly saying that it is the BJP leaders who have, called some of these independents as their proxies. Mr. Singh.
This is all crap. This is all falsehood. This is what National Conference is doing. They are circulating fake narrative. They have circulated a letter on behalf of BJP, a fake letter saying that BJP is welcoming Engineer Rashid. This is what they do. We have filed a FIR against them on this. And I give a challenge. Before this debate gets over, ask her to show the video of Mr. Altaf Thakur welcoming Engineer Rashid. How can you allow this, Vasudha?
Okay. Ifra, he's saying that this is completely fake news and the NC is depending on fake news. But Mr. Singh, the other point that she was raising that, it is some BJP leaders who have basically called some of the independents as proxies, and it is not the National Conference that is threatened by the presence. What do you have to say to that, sir?
Vasudha, I'll appreciate. Please show me one such video statement of my leader who has said that bat ball is just proxy symbol. Please do that. And then let her do a search. She's doing a search. Parallelly, she's doing a search on Google.
This is exactly the problem. You see, this is exactly... Okay, sir, here is a question.
This is not fair. I didn't interrupt her.
If I show you...
Okay. Ifra, let him go on and then I'll come to you.
Okay,
Mr. Singh, finish your point. Mr. Singh, finish your point. Mr. Singh.
Please, I'm requesting, please show the video of Altaf Thakur welcoming the release of Engineer Rashid. Because you are on a live on a TV channel and use that as a mode to spread falsehood.
Okay, Ifra, you know, also the fact
they are a confused lot. I mean, give me a second. They are a confused lot.
I don't know where my...
They are a confused lot. On one day, Mr. Omar Abdullah says...
लेकिन साथ-साथ इंजीनियर रशीद के रहा होने से उनका इलेक्शन कैंपेनिंग में हिस्सा लेने से जम्मू कश्मीर के पॉलिटिकल एटमॉस्फेयर में बहुत बड़ी चेंजेस आ सकती है और जो हालात है हालत डिफरेंट होगी। जैसे पहले यहाँ उमर साहब उनके खिलाफ लड़ चुके और हार चुके और मुझे लगता है कि सबसे कोई बड़ी चेंज और बड़ा फर्क अगर पड़ने वाला है वो उमर साहब और नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को। मुझे लगता है उमर साहब की बौखलाहट और ज्यादा बढ़ जाएगी और उनकी नींद भी खराब होगी। मुझे लगता है कल तक वो टोपी ही उतार के भीख मांग रहे थे।
Okay, Mr.
पता नहीं किस तरीके से। लेकिन please, I'll appreciate.
Yeah, he's the first one to welcome it.
Give me a second. Hold on.
Mr. Singh, yeah. Mr. Singh, please.
I'll appreciate. Vasudha, ask her to send this video to you and ask your research team to do a complete research and do the translation of what he's saying.
So we cannot verify the authenticity of this video. So let's get into the crux of the issue. Yes, sir. Mr. Singh, how do you see these blame and allegations by both NC and PDP that, you know, in some ways the BJP is undermining the elections? Is it because their leaders have lost elections? Ifra, the point is, see, videos, we know we live in an age of AI, so I would take some time to verify that. Mr. Singh, I'll come to you, Ifra, next. Mr. Singh, how do you respond to those allegations?
Well, I'll show you the statement of Mr. Omar Abdullah saying that Jamaat has all the right to participate in election. And now he's opposing it. So, I mean, he is a confused person. He should be labeled as Mr. Confused. In Dogri, we say, Batayo de. So he's a confused person who says something in the morning and says something else in the evening.
Okay.
His father seeks support of Korea conference for winning election.
Okay, I'd like Ifra to give the last comment to this. You know, in some ways, do you think that this fear that the separatists or independents are also in some ways taking away space, was this triggered because Omar lost elections? Because NC is in some ways seen as a party that has a huge network. Why is the party sounding a little, in some ways, not threatened? Yeah, threatened. Do you think that
there is worse than the radicals?
Yes, Ifra.
Omar Abdullah is worse than the radicals.
Yes, Ifra. Let Ifra speak now. Ifra, please.
He said that had he been the chief minister,
Ifra, please
he would not allow Afzal Guru to be
Thank you.
Ifra,
First of all, this video is not my video. It's by Greater Kashmir, one of the most premier agencies of Jammu and Kashmir news agencies, including ANI. ANI has a similar interview. If Mr. Singh believes that ANI and Greater Kashmir are all fake narratives, there is nothing I can do. It's on my wall. I've just shared it. It's by Greater Kashmir. Continues to be.
Okay, thank you so much.
Point number 2.
For joining me. I'm completely out of time. Interesting developments there in Jammu and Kashmir. That's voting for its 90-member assembly in 3 phases, while the first phase of elections is scheduled on the 18th of September. There are other 2 phases as well. But of course, as election activity peaks, there's also discord between regional leaders and the centre. That's what we saw in this panel discussion today. That's all we have for you in this bulletin. Time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.